my gosh, we had to basically get a proof of life in a phone call from Joe Biden, the current president. I'll remind everybody, yesterday, whenever Kamala Harris went to that Wilmington campaign office, this is insane. Do they really think the American people want to vote for this party? This is what this party is doing to the country? Wow.
Do Republicans hate Kamala Harris more than Joe Biden?
Biden said, first off, he said he's going to hire a black female for vice president, and that he just skipped over. What about white females? What about any other group? It just, when you go down that route, you take mediocrity, and that's what they have right now as a vice president.
So are you suggesting she was a DEI hire?
100%. She was a DEI hire.
Even Kevin McCarthy thought that attack was stupid. Kevin McCarthy, if you don't know him, he's just an awful person.
I would say two attacks I've heard Republicans give that are totally stupid and dumb to do is the DEI attack. Okay? The other attack that I would not do is saying that the president has to resign.
Interesting.
That would be an advantage for Kamala. Air Force One is very powerful when it lands somewhere. And you know what? Something will happen between now and the election, a hurricane or something else, and she'll be able to present herself as a leader. Or maybe there's some foreign policy. That is a mistake for any leader to go out and say that on the Republican side. This DEI, that seems like a petty. Look, I disagree with DEI, but she is the vice president of the United States. She is the former U.S. senator. These congressmen that are saying it, they're wrong in their own instance.
All right.
It even got to the point where Tim Burchett had to apologize. I mean, even when he was like popping off like that, even the other people were like, like, oh wow, that's a really nasty thing to say. He was canceled by like other conservatives that were like bro, like dude, stop saying the quietest part out loud. Like, damn it. Weird apology, by the way. Just, I'm sorry, but I was speaking facts the whole time. Sure. But him popping off like this didn't stop everyone else from making similar statements.
Yeah, and then there's the DEI press secretary telling you that the DEI vice president is the future of the party here. And so the future looks kind of dim for the Democrats here, but this is no shocker either. Kamala Harris, she's the original Haktua girl. That's the way she got where she is. And the party's going downhill if it's in her hands.
That was tough. That was harsh.
I've been going to MAGA rallies for years. There's tons of shirts being sold at all of them with, Joe sucks, Kamala swallows. Just type that in, t-shirt. That's at every rally. It's been at every rally. If you did something similar to that, for Democrats, you'd get, us and our, the cancel culture, woke police saying, yeah, that's incredibly misogynistic. Stop that. Take that down. That's awful. That would be dealt with very quickly, but that was the norm. Totally normal thing to do at these rallies, like Joe sucks, Kamala swallows. It's like very normalized behavior. It's gross.
It doesn't really matter who the Democrats choose because the president is Obama and he's in his third term now and he'll be running for his fourth term. And I love that he, as the brains behind the Democrat Party, says that if Trump is elected, Trump will be a dictator who will refuse to relinquish power, when in fact, that's Obama's story right there.
I am happy now that the general consensus in our society is like DEI is the end. Like, you're saying the N-word, you're getting the chance to just say the N-word because we can't say the N-word anymore, like golly gee. So everything's just a DEI hire, right? Like, right? I mean, it's a DEI hire if, the person's not white, like, just DEI. I mean, I thought that they would have some nuance with it, right? Like, I thought that they're just like DEI. I'm like I thought they'd be a little slicker with it, right? Like, come on. But hey, you know what? I say that now, but give it time. I'm sure they're just getting used to Kamala as president. I think they're going to get it. They'll they'll work in some other way, you know. Also, yeah, the favorite, I mean, J.D. Vance's, speech about, the women with no kids, people with no kids not getting to vote and everything, that's nasty. Other MAGA have basically, blasted Kamala for not having kids. Laura Loomer, she's the Jewish woman who's a white supremacist who is, she's like too white supremacist for like most of MAGA, and they're like, we don't know you. And then there's a lot of MAGA that's like, no, we know Laura. Trump's like, oh no, I know Laura Loomer. Like that's Miguel. Yeah, this has been the whole fact that she, has not produced her own children is, a big selling point amongst them for some reason. Roseanne isn't even giving a new conspiracy. This is recycled. She's recycling this whole, like, they said that during, Joe Biden. It was that, that's not Joe, that's Obama. Obama's doing it. And now, as we're passing the torch to Kamala, it's also Obama. Obama, he's also secretly, pulling all the strings and everything. I mean, okay, like, dude, come on. Come up with a new conspiracy, damn it. I mean, listen, the right is, busy, with the opposition playbook to Kamala and trying to make the conspiracies happen. But listen, the left has been just on fire. Y'all have just come up with this amazing rhetoric about, how, she is just a police officer and all this stuff, and how she just, was, putting people in jail for this and that. So y'all on the left have been doing an amazing job for the Trump campaign. Amazing. And spreading stuff about her time as DA and Attorney General that's not factually correct. Amazing job. Like, mwah, right? There were, and I gotta say, when people are actually excited about a candidate, you've seen clapbacks after clapbacks. People just fact-checking everyone online in real time. People making TikToks over the last several days, where there's basically going against this whole narrative that she just spent, locking people up. They talk about all the diversionary programs that she set up. How there was that whole conspiracy about how she threatened, black families with jail time if their kids didn't attend school. And that was debunked, right? She basically had a program where she was going after kids that would spend 40 to 80 days away from school. That's not just like playing hooky. That's, like other people call it, that's a hiatus, okay? She went after those parents. None of the parents were arrested. She gave them every chance and offered them every social program to help them so that they could help themselves and that their children could attend school. However, that was billed as her just locking up black families. Like, when none of those people went to jail, right? There was the whole thing about she prosecuted a bunch of people, and she had like 45 people actually, did jail time or something, and we don't know their race. There's it's well documented the diversionary programs she set up. It's well documented that it's AG for the state of California. She went after oil companies. There's a lot there. So, and yes, and when you were a DA and a prosecutor, you have to work with law enforcement. Yeah. But yes, that has historically been the stepping stone for a career in politics. It's AG, then, it's district attorney, AG, and, governorship, senator. Those are tried and true stepping stones for every politician across the board. It's not new. So keep trying, far left. I say this, I'm a big dirty leftist, but yeah. Keep trying to, work for the Trump campaign, leftist, and on the right, come up with a better, dog whistle. Come on. I've been absolutely floored by the amount of, the groundswell of public support I've seen for Kamala Harris over the past few days. I can spot trends. I can spot when there's actual buzz and real buzz, not just the people that bomb comment sections of Instagram about, Cornel West and Jill Stein. Actual engagement with that. And that's been across the board. Vote.org, had a really high number of people registering to vote. I see a ton of people talking about how they have sat out the last 3 elections and they're gonna get off their ass and vote. And it's the amazing part in the last few days, very few days, we've actually seen for the first time what a weak candidate Donald Trump actually is, right? Because the last few months, we've last year, we've all been like, why is he heading the polls? Why is he should not be, right? He should not be a threat because he is a bad candidate on so many levels, right? You have people that have never voted Democrat before coming out to vote against him, saying that this is terrible. You had the lieutenant governor of Georgia, who is a staunch conservative. He's very conservative. Look him up, right? He would benefit from a Trump presidency. A lot of the things that he would like to see instituted and implemented would get implemented, right? And then for him to turn around and say, this is not what democracy looks like. This human being is bad for democracy, hands down. That says so much because he would benefit. He would do very well under a Trump presidency. The policies that he wants would do very well. So for someone to say that, hats off, bro. It is, I feel like we've just been so conditioned over the last several years of just having a president that is, listen, he's done some fire things. If you just this is the Israel box and just ignore that for a second. He's done some dope things, okay? There's just, what he's done with the FCC, FTC, done for consumers and, for the climate, he did a lot of drilling. However, he has record-breaking investment in fighting climate change, record-breaking investment in infrastructure, right? In replacing lead pipes. I didn't even know that was a thing. When they're passing legislation for that, I was like, wait, we have lead pipes? Oh, okay, sure. Woo, okay. That's how behind we are as the greatest country on the planet Earth, right? We still have lead pipes, and that supposedly was a contentious issue. So, he did some hot things, marketing-wise. He's just an old dude who says words like malarkey and stuff. He can't have rallies. He can't have this. I really need him to not, to be Trump. And I'm reluctant, going to a rally and being like, oh, really? A Biden rally. That's the energy that I would have. I'd be like, oh, Kamala rally, okay, let's do it. Let's go listen to her talk and see who showed up and see who's inspired and stuff. Cool. I'm really happy to see that for the first time. And it's showing I'm really happy that this is happening. Look, Donald Trump got shot a week ago. We all watched that and went, wow, a candidate surviving an assassination attempt is going to do great in the polling wise. That's definitive. I mean, right? Like, people are going to be on fire for their candidate. So to see, like, you know, him go down in the numbers right after getting shot and surviving, pretty good, you know. And the Democrats, you know what, historically terrible at messaging, historically, like, bad at a lot of things, but waiting until the RNC was over to make this announcement so that they couldn't mobilize properly, pretty good. I mean, I'm assuming that that was how it went and it wasn't just, you know, yeah. And lastly, I will say their biggest criticism, the RNC's biggest criticism is she wasn't chosen. She wasn't chosen. You know, the people didn't get to choose her. You know, correct. Joe Biden is stepping down and she is the vice president. So yes. However, there were a ton of people a ton of registered Democrats that during the primary showed up in numbers in swing states to vote uncommitted. They voted uncommitted. I mean, they showed up to vote uncommitted, and they're registered Dems. So they didn't want Biden, and they're not going to get Biden anymore. Everyone that showed up. So, and, you know, listen, if, you know, and the Republicans are going to chirp about this, but listen, if you don't want, you know, it's like everyone has a choice to make at the polls, right? You know, if they want to buy into that whole nonsense, you know, yeah, great, vote for Trump. If you want something brand new, you know, vote for Kamala.